We welcome you all back to ISV, ISKCON of Silicon Valley. Tonight is great with great happiness. We welcome back to ISV His Holiness Gopala Krishna Maharaj. Please welcome. For many decades, His Holiness Gopala Krishna Maharaj has taken on the great responsibility for spreading the Krishna consciousness movement all over the world. And spread it he has. Every place he goes, every project that he has developed into a blossoming example of Krishna consciousness for the world. As an example, this New Delhi project has headed the charts all over the world in book distribution for many, many years. Not only that, is one of the most astounding architectural successes and beautiful spiritual environments. Maharaj travels all over the world and enlivens hundreds of thousands of devotees. We feel very fortunate that he's come here and does come here every year to ISKCON of Silicon Valley and also to ISKCON Berkeley. Thank you very, very much, Maharaj, for keeping us in your orbit. One more time, please welcome His Holiness Gopala Krishna.
Okay. I hope you devotees are not watching the Russian soccer World Cup. Why, Sheshika Prabhu? I hope the devotees are not watching the Russian World Cup soccer matches. Because over there, you really clap and clap and clap. Well, I come to your temple to get inspired by all of you for being so wonderfully trained by Sheshika Prabhu. And it was very heartening to hear that your temple, running under Sheshika Prabhu's leadership, was #1 in North America in remittance to the BVT. That was a very good achievement, and I believe the target this year is increased by 50%, am I right? Prabhupada gave us the mantra, double it. And the threat is that they all plan to overtake Delhi and Bombay by next. I said, Prabhu, is that right? That's a real threat. You're planning on overtaking Delhi and Bombay.
Maharaj, only with your blessings, if you bless us.
I told Vaisheshika Prabhu in India, please overtake Delhi, Bombay and Mayapur. This is, as Prabhupada said, a spiritual competition. So devotees are happy if somebody else does better. Actually, I'm a little late. I believe your program was to start at 6. So today we're going to speak about Thakur Bhakti Vinod, is that okay? I understand you have a book marathon going on also. Jai Radha Rava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Rava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Nivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabhari Jai Radha Kunja Bihari Sodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Sodanandana Braja Ranjana Jamnatira Manachari Jamnatira Manachari Jai Radha Madhava Jabihari Jai Radha Madhava Jabihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Nivaradhari Sodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamnatira Manachari Jai Radha Madhava Jabihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Nivaradhari Sodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamnatira Manachari Jamnatira Manachari Jai Shri Krishna Prabha Nityananda Shri Advaita Radha Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radha Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jai Radha, Madan Mohan Radha, Madan Mohan Radha. Haribo, 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 Haribo. Haribo, 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 Haribo. Jayo Vishnupada Divine Geshwara, Srila Bhakti Vinod Swami, Srila Prabhupada Maharaj ki, Shri Radha Madan Mohan ki, ISKCON Silicon Valley ki, Samgadaniya ki, all glories to Samgadaniya, all glories to Samgadaniya, all glories to Samgadaniya, all glory to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Hare Krishna. So once again, I want to express my gratitude to all you devotees for the hard work you're doing. And I consider myself very fortunate to have the privilege of being with all you exalted devotees who are so committed to preaching. So tomorrow is the Disciplines Day of Thakur Bhakti Vinod. So I thought we could discuss a little bit of Thakur Bhakti Vinod. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Gyan Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakya Chakshunmilitanena Tasmai Shri Chaitanya Manobhista Sabdamena Sayamrupa Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. We all have a great debt to pay to Thakur Bhaktivinoda. Prabhupada was giving a lecture in England on either his appearance or disappearance day, and Prabhupada said, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is virtually the founder of the Krishna conscious movement. He said he's virtually the founder of the Krishna conscious movement. So, Bhaktivinoda Thakur was not an ordinary personality. He's described as the mercy incarnation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur appeared on the planet in 1838. He appeared in an opulent family. He was well educated and he obtained a job with the British government. We're not going to discuss all his pastimes because that will take a long time. I want to get to some of his writings, which has a very profound message for all of us. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur got a job with the British government, and he was holding a position which was the highest an Indian could hold, namely the position of a district magistrate. He was serving as a magistrate during the British rule, and he was considered to be very, very efficient. What would take other lawyers, other judges, days to hear and decide, he would do it in minutes. So as a result, many of the other judges became envious of him. Thakur Bhakti Vinod was searching for the manuscript of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanya Charitamrita, as you know, was compiled by Krishnadas Kaviraj. And even after extensive efforts, he could not find it. And ultimately, with great difficulty, he found one. So, Lord Chaitanya's teachings, after his departure from the planet, had fallen into wrong hands. And the Vaishnavas had virtually lost all respect in society, because in the name of Vaishnavism, people were flirting with women and so on. So it was Thakur Bhakti Vinod who re-established the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as they were, in their true form. That's one of his great achievements. So Thakur Bhakti Vinod was working in the British government, and he corrected many of the discrepancies that were there. For example, at that time there were discrepancies in the management of the Jagannath Puri temple, discrepancies in terms of financial embezzlement and in terms of the offerings being in time. So the British government gave this assignment to Thakur Bhakti Vinod, and he had it corrected. The king had made a plan to kill Bhakti Vinod Thakur, but instead his own son died. Thakur Bhakti Vinod was a very kind-hearted person. No one ever went away from him being chastised. He was very kind, very gentle, satisfied everyone. There was a tree where there was a ghost, and many people were worshipping that tree. So the father had come to beg alms for his daughter's marriage. Bhaktivinoda told him to sit beneath that tree and recite the Bhagavatam. He recited the Bhagavatam for 1 full month, and after 1 month, what happened? The tree fell, the ghost was gone, and everyone was happy, except few people. There was an impostor who was pretending to be an incarnation of Mahavishnu. He was flirting with people's wives, sisters, daughters. And many people were complaining to the British government. Please do take some action. This man is flirting with our daughters, sisters. The British government knew that Bhaktivinoda was a man of integrity. So they directed this assignment to him. Bhaktivinoda Thakur went with a small police group, but he took with him Muslim policemen, not Hindu policemen, because the Hindu policemen were too scared to touch this impostor. Everyone was scared of him. So Thakur took some Mohammedan policemen with him. And they reached a hut in the jungle where he was residing, and the yogi said, Kiranadatta, I know why you're here. You know me. I'm going to drive the Britishers out of India. I'll be the governor, and you will be my representative. Kiranadatta said. And he said, you know who I am. I'm God, Mahavishnu. So the Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, if you're God, why don't you reside in the Jagannath Puri temple? What are you doing in the jungle? And he responded by saying, that Jagannath, he's not God, they're just a wooden statue. And the moment he said this, Bhaktivinoda ordered his policeman, arrest this man! So he was arrested and brought on trial. And this impostor had a big following. So his followers were all shouting, please release our God. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur refused to budge. There was a trial. And on the day he was supposed to give his judgment, I mean, these days you can dictate everything, but these facilities were not there at that time. So on the day Bhaktivinoda Thakur was supposed to give the judgment, his whole body, right side, virtually got paralyzed. And when he was in custody, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's children had fallen sick, wife had fallen sick, and everyone in Puri was saying, this is a reaction to arresting God. And many people would tell Bhaktivinoda, please release him, please release him. Bhaktivinoda said, let my family die, but I'm not going to release him. So the day he was going to give a judgment, his right side had virtually become paralyzed. He had to write the judgment. But he was persistent. And he finally wrote the judgment. And this man was sentenced, and later on he committed suicide. So Bhakti Vinod corrected many of the discrepancies. And he requested the British government to transfer him to Krishnanagar. Initially, the British government refused. No, we can't transfer you there. You're too much needed here. But he said, if you don't transfer, I'll resign. So he exchanged his position with a British officer. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur could not accept that Navadvip was the birthplace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He calculated that town, city, was only 100 years old. So he brought all the maps. And every weekend, Sunday, he would go to different places to research. And one of the maps was written in Mayapur. So he went to that location, spoke to the people who said, yes, this is the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya. But there were tulsi plants there, and the Mahamans were residing there. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, after his research, was fully convinced. But he wanted it to be confirmed by others. So Jagannath Babaji was the Diksha Guru of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He was a great sage who used to spend 6 months in Vrindavan, 6 months in Mayapur. So he was 142 or 144 years of age, and he was carried in a basket by his servant. What was the name of the servant? By his servant. And when the servant reached the location that Bhaktivinoda Thakur was identifying as the birthplace, Jagannath Babaji was 144 years of age, jumped out of the basket and said, this is it, this is it, this is it. So that convinced Bhaktivinoda Thakur, this is the place. And then it was officially announced. There was a big function in which about 10,000 people came. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur has many, many achievements. He was working as a magistrate, bringing up a family, writing books. Virtually all the songs that we sing, or most of the bhajans, are composed by him. He was truly the divine Shakti of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He had prayed that please may the Lord send someone who could take the movement forward after him. And in response to his prayer, the Lord sent the ray of Vishnu, who was Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he had 24 hours. After 24 hours, he would take rest only 3 hours a day. You want to hear his schedule? 8 to 10 p.m. in the night, he would rest. 10 a.m. to 4 a.m., 10 p.m. to 4 a.m., he would write. That's the time when most people snore. The Thakur Bhaktivinoda would write in the night from 10 to 4. As some of you may know, Srila Prabhupada would also get up at about 10:30 in the night and translate in the morning. So I think Prabhupada got this inspiration from Bhaktivinoda Thakur. We used to write from 10 to 4. Then 4 to 4:30, he would rest. That's all. 4:30 to 7, he would do japa. 7 to 7:30, he would correspond. He would correspond with leaders of society. And then 7:30 to 9:30, he would study the Shastra. I was at Prabhupada once in Bombay, and Prabhupada said, I read my Gita myself every day. So it doesn't mean that if you're an advanced devotee, you don't read the Shastra. Bhakti Vinod Thakur used to read the scriptures for 2 hours every day. Then 9:30 he would bath. 10 to 1 he would go to the court. So in a total of 24 hours, he would sleep for 3 hours, write for 9 hours, japa and study for 5 hours, and work in the court for 6 hours. So Bhakti Vinod Thakur was a pioneer. He wrote nearly 100 books, and he was a great visionary. In 1896, he sent his book on the life of Lord Chaitanya to universities around the world. And that was the year that Srila Prabhupada appeared on the planet, 1896. I know that in Montreal, Canada, in the McGill Library, that book was there at least till 1967. It may still there, I'll check it out now. So can you imagine a book distributed in 1896 was still in the library till 1967? This is the power of book distribution. One can stays in the library or at home for decades. So Thakur Bhakti Vinod was a great visionary. He wrote many books. And he had predicted that a powerful Maharati will appear who will fulfill Lord Chaitanya's prediction. And who was that Maharati? And a day will come when devotees from different parts of the world, and he even named the countries like Russia, England, France, Germany, would come to Mayapur, and along with the local devotees, chant and dance. Thakur Bhakti Vinod is also addressed as the seventh Goswami. So, as I said earlier, there's a lot to talk about him. Thakur Bhakti Vinod wrote a book called Sharanagati. Have you heard of that? What does Sharanagati mean? To whom? Maya. Surrender to Krishna. We have a farm near Vancouver called Sharanagati. Okay? So Sharanagati means to surrender. So Thakur Bhakti Vinod, as you said, wrote nearly 100 books in English, Bengali, Oriya. And his books are guiding, his books have guided the progress of the Krishna conscious movement. So I'll read something from Sharanagati. It's really very beautiful, and it's something that we can meditate upon. This is what he says. Srila Thakur Bhakti Vinod had all pure divine qualities, and he took the role of a conditioned soul to teach us how to advance in Krishna consciousness. So what does he say? You should always absorb your mind in attentively chanting Krishna's glories. So what's the first point he says? Absorb your mind in attentively chanting Krishna's glories. When we chant the Hare Krishna mantra, we're chanting Krishna's glories, isn't it? But he says you should be attentive in chanting. This point comes up again and again. Attentive in chanting. Just like Rupa Goswami in Upanishad it says, the holy names of the Lord are sweet like sugar candy. The qualities of the Lord are sweet like sugar candy. The pastimes of the Lord are also sweet. But because our tongue is afflicted with the disease of avidya, that is manifested through lust, anger, greed, etc., we can't taste the sweetness. So someone may say, okay, but is there any solution? Any possibility? Is there? What does he say further? He says, however, if we chant the holy name attentively, then this disease of avidya will get cured, and you will be able to experience the sweetness of the holy name. So the point so Thakur is saying, if you chant attentively, then you'll be able to even control your mind. That is very important. The different stages of chanting the holy name. In the initial stage, you may chant and commit offenses. Then as you progress, you associate with devotees, you read the books, you understand the importance of avoiding offenses. The intermediate stage, namabhasa. And you keep endeavoring, you'll get to the stage of Shuddhanama, pure chanting. So here he's saying, absorb your mind in attentively chanting. So at least when you're doing a 16 rounds, minimum, we should be very attentive. Which means, when you're chanting, make this your single pointed attention. Not that you're chanting and doing various errands at the same time. Do you like being distracted when you're eating prasad? What do you tell people? Let me eat in peace, isn't it? So our slogan should be, let me chant in peace. So, absorb your mind in intently chanting Krishna glory. By performing Krishna Kirtan, you will gain mastery over the mind. So we often hear, oh, my mind's creating such havoc. The mind is troubling me. By and large, I've seen that the questions devotees ask are the same all over the world. Their problems are essentially the same. And one of our problems is the fickle mind. Am I right? The fickle mind is always telling us, do this, do this. One day, take the spiritual life. Second day, it may say, what's the hurry? You're still very young. You have a long way to go. Look at the others, what they are doing. So the mind, the material mind, keeps cheating us. We often say, he's cheating us. Well, the biggest cheater is your mind. So we need to gain control over the mind. As Krishna says in the 6th chapter, one has controlled the mind. He has obtained tranquility. He'll be undisturbed. So how do you achieve that stage? Thakur Bhakti says, by performing kirtan, by chanting the holy name. You will be able to gain control over the mind. Bhakti Siddhanta Ji used to say, every morning you get up, take your slippers and need to beat your mind 100 times, saying, I'm not going to listen to you today, I'm not going to listen to you today, I'm not going to listen to you today. And when you go to sleep, take a broom and say, yes, I didn't listen to you today. But if we chant the holy name, then the mind will also be in control. Then he says, give up all false pride. That's a tough one. Give up all false pride. We are all proud. We all think that we are the shakers of the world. Everyone thinks he is God's gift to humanity. We're so proud of. But here he says, give up all false pride. But you can only give up pride once you understand you're not the doer. Am I right? But we all like to think I am the doer. So he says, give up all, and you can only think you're not the doer, you are following the spiritual path. So he says, give up all false pride. Always think yourself to be worthless, destitute, lower, and more humble than straw in the street. This advice here, similar to the advice that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives us. In which verse? In the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed his disciples and followers to write volumes of books. And the literature left behind the Goswamis is probably the most vast in history after Vyasadeva. But he himself left behind only 8 verses that we identify as his Shastra. But in these 8 verses, he has summarized the message of the entire Vedas. So if you understand these 8 verses and apply them in your lives, you can achieve perfection. So he says over here, give up false pride and think that you're worthless, destitute, lower and more humble than the grass on the street. Everyone walks on the grass. Does the grass retaliate? You step on the grass. So we need to become humble and more tolerant than a tree, more humble than a blade of grass. An important element of humility is, I'm ready to be corrected, I'm ready to be directed, I'm ready to be guided. Humility doesn't mean you just offer 100 dandavats, speak softly, but but mentally think, no, you don't need any guidance. So we should be cultivating genuine humility. Lord Chaitanya was a prominent Sanskrit scholar. And the Mayavadis, headed by Prakashananda Saraswati, were wondering, why this prominent Sanskrit scholar not studying the Vedanta with us? And at the request of Chandrasekhar and Tapan Mishra, the Lord finally agreed to go to meet them. But of course the Lord displayed his superhuman qualities. The genuine incarnation displays superhuman activities which cannot be imitated by anyone. The Lord was sitting next to the place where they wash feet before going in the temple, and he displayed the effulgence of thousands of moons put together. So anyway, when he went up, Prakashananda, the Mayavadi sannyasis could see, this sannyasi is not ordinary. So much effulgence is coming from his face. So Prakashananda Saraswati came and caught him by the hand and took him to the higher platform. And the Lord said very humbly, my spiritual master considered me to be a fool. So he said, this is all you are capable of doing. Just chant. So this is humility. Lord Chaitanya said, spiritual master considered me to be a fool, and he said, this is all you are capable of doing. So we need humility on the spiritual path. Then it says, practice forgiveness. Like what? Like the tree. Practice forgiveness like the tree. So a devotee should be very forgiving. Look at Yudhishthira Maharaj. After the battle of Kurukshetra, in the battle Dhritarashtra had lost everyone. If Yudhishthira wanted, the Pandavas could have arrested Dhritarashtra. Instead, Yudhishthira was lamenting, oh, all your cousins, everyone has died. And he gave Dhritarashtra a royal palace to live in. He gave him such nice amenities that Dhritarashtra was thinking, last I become a king. Till Vidura came and woke him up. So, a devotee is very forgiving. I remember in 1968, we had gone with Prabhupada to a high school engagement in a Christian school in Montreal, Canada. That's where I joined. So Prabhupada gave a lecture as usual, like he would give. The audience consisted of Christian nuns and students of the school. It was a Christian school. And in the audience there were also some of us from the temple. So after the lecture, Prabhupada said, any questions, like he would always say. So there was one Indian gentleman who got up and started insulting Prabhupada. Why are you preaching this philosophy in this Christian country? They have their own philosophy. Anyway, he gave a whole 2-minute talk. Devotees were angry, but Prabhupada was cool. This incident took place in June 68. Around August 68, Prabhupada was leaving Montreal to go to another city. He told me, go and call that Mr. M. I said, why do you want to see him? He insulted you so badly. Prabhupada said, no! I must have done something to him in my last life, for which he took revenge. So Prabhupada called him, blessed him before departure. So Vaishnava is very forgiving. A Vaishnava doesn't believe in, as they say in English language, tit for tat. In Hindi they say nela pedela. And in Russian they say zuba zub. So a Vaishnava doesn't believe in tit for tat. A Vaishnava is forgiving. I think that's what Bhakti Vinod Thakur wants you to do. What I'm reading from is Bhakti Vinod Thakur's advice. He says, practice forgiveness like the tree. The tree is so kind. Rainy season, hot season, cold season is ready to protect us. Sometimes people cut the tree to make fire. The tree tolerates it. It's not that the tree doesn't have consciousness. And about 30 years ago I read a study which was done in Vancouver University. And the study showed that trees also have consciousness. They also communicate by releasing a particular type of air. Give up all violence towards other living beings. So give up violence towards other living beings. A devotee is truly non-violent. In the story of Jad Bharat, you see that Jad Bharat was requested to carry the palanquin of the king, who was getting late to go to a spiritual discourse. And the other palanquin carriers were running. But Jad Bharat would not keep his feet on the ground till he saw that at least for the next 3 feet there was no living entity on the ground. And the king said, what's this? I told you all to go fast. You are going slow. And everyone said, sir, it's not our fault. This new man we added to our team is the cause. But Jad Bharat, why was he going slow? Because he didn't want to hurt human and ant. And in the story of Mrigari we see, Mrigari, the cruel hunter, got purified by Narada Muni's association. And he became so cautious that he would not even place his feet on the ground till he saw that there was no entity there. So a devotee doesn't want to do violence against anyone. You should, throughout your life, never give anxiety to others. How do you like this? Throughout your life, never give anxiety to anyone. Don't be a source of anxiety. Normally, we all think what's good for me. We hear Bhakti Vinod Thakur say, do not be a source of anxiety to others. Do good to them, make them happy, and forget about your own happiness. Boy, that's a heavy statement. Forget about your own happiness, make everyone happy, and be good to them. So normally we are selfish, am I right? We're only thinking what's good for me, and our philosophy is what's good for me is good for everyone. Am I right? That's the world we want to live in, isn't it? What's good for me is good for everyone. So everyone must do what I say. And if they don't do what I say, then I conclude any politics, discrimination. Because we want to see everything from our eyes. But here Thakur says, forget about your own happiness. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was instructing Sanatana Goswami on the process of Sharanagati. And one of the principles, 6 principles is, have your desires consistent with the desires of the Lord. So, this advice of Thakur Bhakti Vinod is very wonderful, and we should endeavor to cultivate. And further he says, give up your desire for fame and honor. So, we all want fame and honor. We read the story of Madhavendra Puri, that Madhavendra Puri was inspired by the Lord in a dream to go and establish the deity of Gopal. It was heaven underneath. And then he was later on ordered in a dream to get Chandan. So Madhavendra Puri came to Ramana, had darshan of the Radha Gopinath deity. But he wanted to know what offerings should he give to the deities so he can go back and prepare the same type of offering. But he manifested this desire while the offering was going on. So he felt very embarrassed. And he went to the market to resume his to chant. The Lord knew what his pure devotee wanted. So what did the Lord do? What did he do? He stole a sweet rice and hid it behind the curtain and told the pujari in a dream, take this sweet rice and give it to Madhavendra Puri. So anyway, the pujari took the sweet rice, it's a long story, and gave it to the Madhavendra Puri. Madhavendra Puri knew that now everyone in Ramana is going to go after him and to have his darshan, touch his feet. He didn't want that. So he withdrew from that city. He went to Jagannath Puri so that people would not chase him, honor him, and so on. So a devotee is not out of fame and honor. Madhavendra Puri was worried that he'll get too much glorification because the Lord stole a cup of sweet rice for him. So he withdrew from the scene. So a devotee does not go after fame and honor. And make your heart humble. So this way, Madhavendra Puri is giving us, Bhakti Vinod Thakur is giving us very good advice. So Thakur Bhakti Vinod was a great Acharya, and he had predicted that soon a powerful general will come, will take the holy name. So we have a great debt to Bhakti Vinod Thakur. He was a great visionary. And in his writings, he gives us a very powerful message. Just like in another prayer. Jeev jago, gora chanda bole, kotanida jao maya pija chirakule. He says, Lord Chaitanya is telling the conditioned souls, wake up, wake up. You are sleeping on the lap. Whose lap? Vishnu's. But this doesn't apply to all of you. This is for people of other places. You all were always pure devotees. So sleeping on the lap of Maya, Lord Chaitanya is saying, wake up. We may think that we are materially up, but spiritually we are snoring. So we need to be woken up, reminded about the importance of our spiritual life. Bhajiva boliye se samsara bitare, boliye rohiri tumhe avidyara pare. You came to this birth, world of earth, and they're saying, my Lord, I will certainly worship you. But now you have forgotten the promise and remain in ignorance. The child in the mother's womb is in a very painful situation. If you want to read it, you can get information on the third canto. I've discussed the third canto, this section, with doctors around the world, and no one has been able to dispute that. So, in that painful position, we are fortunate. We pray that if we get released, we'll worship you. But when we come out, we forget our promise. So Thakur Bhaktivinoda is saying, get out of this ignorance. Tumhare loite ami aina avtara, ami bina bandhu avane ke ache tumhara. I have descended to save you. Except for me, who is your friend? So, who is your true friend? Who? Your true friend is one who is guiding you spiritually. Your true friend is one who is giving you the real message by which you can find real happiness. One who wants to push you or pull you in the direction of sense enjoyment is not your real friend. So society's real friends are devotees who are well-wishers of everyone. Prabhupada, when he would end his letter, he would sign, your ever well-wisher. He was a well-wisher for everyone. That's why he left Vrindavan at the old age of 70, with hardly any money, suffered heart attacks on the trip, and still persisted in his mission, only because he wanted everyone to be happy. And had Prabhupada not come, where would all of us have been? So Thakur Bhaktivinoda is saying, I brought the medicine to eradicate the disease of illusion. Now pray for this Mahamantra and take it. So, illusion can be checked with knowledge. Krishna Surya Sama Maya Hayandikara. Yaha Krishna Tayani Mahadikara. There is Krishna, there is no room for Maya. So we are all born in illusion. We sing this, we offer this mantra, Om Gyanti Vrindasya. We are all born in ignorance, but by the mercy of a sadhu, guru, we get woken up. So falling at the feet of Lord Chaitanya, Bhakti Vinod Thakur is begging for the holy name, because Bhakti Vinod Thakur is playing the role of a conditioned soul. So, Bhakti Vinod Thakur has many wonderful writings. The Gaurarti we sing was composed by him. The bhajan we sing was composed by him. So we have a great gratitude to him. And he was a preacher. He was a visionary. As we said, he sent his book to universities around the world. He had a great vision. he would meet dignitaries. He started a magazine called Sajantoshni, which is like a back to Godhead. And he used all modern media, all modern facilities to spread Krishna consciousness. And his son Bhakti Siddhantaji was the first acharya who was even sat in a car. And I was once told by one of Prabhupada's godbrothers that Bhakti Vinod Thakur would go and sit down in the station 2 hours before the train would come. He was over punctual. So I thought on this day we can all pray to Bhakti Vinod Thakur for his mercy so that we can make spiritual advancement. And you devotees here, are always engaged in the mood of Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Bhakti Vinod Thakur's mood was to preach. That's why he predicted that a day will come when devotees from different parts of the world will come to Mayapur. His son Bhakti Siddhantaji inherited the same mood. He started printing presses. He instructed Prabhupada to preach. And Prabhupada, following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas, emphasized book production and book distribution. In Radhakund, Bhakti Siddhantaji told him on one day, drew a picture of a mridanga and said, if Krishna gives you a facility, print and do what? Distribute books. And this was called Brihad Mridanga. I know cases when somebody bought a book in Australia and he ended up becoming a devotee in Moscow. Just imagine. So this is Brihad Mridanga. And a Vaishnava is Paradukha Dukhi. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, you read the story of Lord Chaitanya when he was traveling in southern India. A devotee called Vasudeva Vipra was suffering from leprosy. He had worms all over his body. But he was so compassionate. When any worm would fall off his body, he would lift it and paste it back in his body. So he went to see Lord Chaitanya in Kurma Brahman's house, but he discovered that the Lord has already left, departed. So in great shock, he almost fainted. But the Lord is in everyone's heart. The Lord knew that his devotee is very sad because he didn't get his audience. So the Lord came back to Kurma's house and he embraced him. And he embraced him, and when he embraced him, the ugly body became a handsome body. All the boils with pusses were gone, and he became a handsome young man. But then he was scared. He became a handsome young man, and he knew that this has happened due to the mercy of the Lord. So he asked the Lord, I may not become proud. Please help me. What should I do to remain humble? And what did the Lord say? Chant Hare Krishna and preach the glories of Hare Krishna. Read the books and give the glories of Bhagavad Gita. And in this way you'll always remain humble. So Prabhupada in the purport of this famous verse says, just like Vasudeva Vipra was saved by Mahaprabhu, the devotees of this Krishna consciousness movement have also been saved. So what should they do? What? Chant and preach the glories of chanting. Read and preach the glories of Bhagavad Gita. Distribute the books. Prabhupada said, distribute books, distribute books, distribute books. So it's so wonderful that you devotees here are trained up what I would call a marathon mood. Is that a correct word? Once somebody asked Prabhupada, what's the meaning of marathon? At least in ISKCON, marathon has become an international word now. You can go to any temple in India, you may meet devotees, they don't speak a word of English, but they know what marathon means. It's really become the same thing in Russia. Everyone knows what a marathon means, even if they don't know English. So, there are always marathons in Silicon Valley, am I right? And I think you're ending a marathon tomorrow and starting a new one in honor of Bhakti Vinod Thakur. And your target is, Vaisheshekha Prabhu, 100,000 Gita?
Tomorrow's the last day of our Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur Disappearance Day marathon. It's the second biggest book distribution marathon that we have every year. Of course, as you say, they generally don't stop. But this is very important to everyone here at ISV, and it goes on for at least a month and a half, and then ends tomorrow. We'll be offering the results to Srila Prabhupada and to Bhakti Vinod Thakur. And so it was perfect timing that you came here, since we're all inspired by you to
we are inspired by you.
Book distribution.
Vaisheshekha Prabhu is inspiring the people in India now. He's gone purely international now. I heard he just came from England, isn't it? At one time Vaisheshekha Prabhu was local and national. But now, not just, what international also means, if we just step out of America, it becomes international. Like they have these international tournaments. Canadian team plays in Canada, America, it becomes international. But purely international means multiple countries. Now Vaisheshekha Prabhu is a purely international preacher. And devotees are getting inspired everywhere. So, it's a good opportunity for all of you to sponsor the Gita. So what?
Yes, Maharaj. We're inching towards our goal of distributing 5,000 Bhagavad Gitas, and Malini will tell more about it. What we need is your special blessings to go over the finish line, and we feel very confident.
So do all of you think we should work hard to meet our target? Yes or no? Yes. So that means you will all have to work hard to make sure that you reach your target by tomorrow morning. Tomorrow evening, so you have one more day. Reach your target by tomorrow evening. So they say yes, so you can give the details.